Kate, you got another question for us?
Yes, I have. I'm with wonderful Barbara Windsor next to her.
Hello, Lennox Lewis. Right, sweetie. Well, how did it feel standing there with the national anthem playing and the whole world tuning into you?
When it was actually playing, I was in our changing room, and I was actually staying warm because those are pretty critical areas when you're starting out to go into the ring, making sure that you have a proper warm-up and that you don't get cold on the way to the ring. So I was like, you know, in my own zone at that time.
Yeah, seemed cool.
I heard the singing, I heard the British fans.
Yeah? No, you never, Len. Well, Lennox wasn't alone in thinking it was a conclusive victory. In fact, 4 separate investigations have been launched into the fight and its outcome. Here to bring us bang up to date with developments stateside is Jim.
Thanks very much indeed, Ian. Welcome to New York. Barnum and Bailey have taken over Madison Square Garden, so the circus has arrived officially in town. You could be forgiven for thinking they sent in an advance party of clowns when those big cats, Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield, tangled in the ring.
Something is seriously wrong with the way this fight was handled. I don't know what it is, and I'm embarrassed that it occurred in New York City.
4 separate investigations are in progress. The scoring of Judge Williams is a central issue. She stands by that verdict, claiming her view was obscured by photographers. But the focus now is on Ms. Williams and big-time boxing.
The first thing that we're trying to elucidate is whether there has been out-and-out corruption in the reaching of the decision by the judges, and the district attorney has the power to subpoena across state lines so that, for example, he could obtain telephone records and bank records with regard to Ms. Williams. By looking at her telephone calls and her bank accounts, it's possible to ascertain perhaps whether there was an inappropriate influence. I have no view on that, and I think we have to be particularly meticulous in not violating her civil rights nor jumping to conclusions in that regard.
I have not received any amounts of cash anywhere. I do not have any secret accounts, and unfortunately, whoever reported that had no knowledge of what they were talking about. They just needed something to sell the papers.
If the Mirror or any other publication has evidence as to that, I not only invite them, but I demand that they show us the evidence of that. Otherwise, their remarks are purely libelous.
Scoring boxing is a subjective business, but on this occasion, on both sides of the pond, the vast majority of the public and the experts reached the same conclusion.
I started scoring it early. Then I stopped because I knew Lennox couldn't lose because he just was too much, too big, too strong, dictated everything.
I scored the fight 9 rounds for Lennox and 3 rounds for Holyfield. And if I had to change my card, I would make it 10-2.
Definitely robbed.
Non-scoring referee Arthur McCanty was powerless to prevent the theft of a dream. He sympathized with Lewis's acute disappointment at the end.
I felt Lennox knew that he won the fight, that he felt he did enough to win the fight. All of my friends are great fight fans. How could you be involved? I mean, there must be something for you. You know, a decision like that, it's a crime, and it puts another black eye in boxing. Here they're trying to get it back where it used to be years ago, and for something like this to happen, it's a shame.
Will order be restored next time round? Can Lennox Lewis get his just desserts? One of boxing's wisest old owls has no doubts. When they do it all again, Lennox will have his day.
Total destruction.
Boxing is about opinions, and as we've seen, everybody has got one. One thing is certain, the rematch must surely be one of the most anticipated encounters in boxing history. But will Lennox get justice second time around? One man who may have all the answers is, of course, Don King. Here he is talking to the grand jury after the fight.
I have nothing to do with the outcome of an event. I have nothing to do with the selection of any officials or any judges.
He'll be live via satellite from New York, ready to answer your questions after the break. Don't go away. Well, he's the most controversial figure in sport. When his office in New York was firebombed, the fire chief allegedly said they'd narrowed it down to 1 million suspects. Here was Jim Rosenthal, the irrepressible Don King. Hey, Mr. King!
Okay. Welcome back to New York. Thank you very much indeed, Ian. Muhammad Ali has called this the biggest fix in boxing history. Did you fix the fight?
Absolutely not. You know, I have nothing to do with the outcome or the selection of judges in a fight. My job as a promoter is to put the fighters together and to sell tickets, market the event, and then let it go from there.
Don, were you in any way embarrassed? Because I know a lot of people around New York, and you don't find many embarrassed Americans, do you, are embarrassed about what's happened to Lennox over here?
Well, you have a very unpopular decision, but not a corrupt decision. And this is the distinction between what is happening. But I have to agree with Lennox and everyone else that has said, and I watched the program, is that this is the best thing that could have happened as far as lifting him up from mediocrity to excellence. You know, Shakespeare says, sweet are the uses of adversity, which ugly and venomous like the toad, yet wears a precious jewel in his head. I think Lennox is found a jewel in adversity. This has done more for him than any decision other than a knockout going into this fight. So you can take it one way, you know, and take it another. All I can say is that I have a great deal of respect. I was never more impressed with his boxing skills and talents than I was that night on March 13th.
Do you think he won the fight?
I would not second just the
No, it's an opinion. Do you think he won it?
My opinion is meaningless. All I can do is accept what the judges have said, but I can say this. Lennox Lewis done himself very proud. He handled himself very dignified, and he did his job, and he has an opportunity to do it again. So that's what really counts, and he has a great mother.
What chance of the rematch happening in Britain?
There's always an opportunity for it to happen in the great UK, because the UK is a beautiful place. We've got beautiful people, and I love the people of the UK. You know what I mean? I know when all of this quieting down and the chips fall where they're made, it would be just what anyone else would do, take an objective, dispassionate step back and find out that you had a bad decision. So, I mean, you're going to have this objective because you're dealing with human beings.
I might have missed it, Don. I didn't get the answer. What chance of the rematch?
Who we got to ask?
I'm with Coronation Street star John Savadin.
I don't know what it's like over in America, but over here, you certainly come in for a lot of personal criticism. Why do you think that is?
Well, you know what it is? It's very, very difficult for me, you know, not one of the run-of-the-mill, not from Oxford or Eton, you know what I mean, not from Cambridge, not being able to go to Harvard, Yale, or Princeton, to be able to do, you know, to achieve and obtain. If your mind can conceive it, your body can achieve it. So I find myself being a controversial person because they can't figure out how I continue to succeed in spite of the insurmountable odds and difficulties I have to face. But I faced them with smile, and I continue to go as Churchill would do. He said, we will fight them on the beaches, we will fight them in the trenches, we will fight them in the air battles, but we shall never, never surrender. Victory is ours.